I don't think many people even know what Google Plus is. This is not well adopted. We don't believe that this is going to be a meaningful financial hit. Obviously, it's more of a headline hit. But if you look in just the last 2 weeks, there's 3 or 4 names under our current coverage universe that have been breached. Chegg was just breached just a week ago with 40 million accounts exposed. So this is something that I think we're all living with in our digital life, and clearly the extent of this, we think, is measured of hundreds of thousands of users is pretty small. So our view is that it's not going to have an impact. But you're continuing to see this across the internet industry and in the software industry is a major threat, and obviously cybersecurity and is continuing to take the foremost attention among many of these companies. So we don't expect this will be a financial impact.
When I heard that it was Google Plus specifically, I thought, well, how many accounts could there possibly have been breached? I mean, all 10 of them? I mean, I'm sort of being flip about this, but I mean, obviously it wasn't a big driver for Google at all on any level. At the same time, Chegg wasn't invited to Capitol Hill. Chegg didn't decide to not send a CEO down to Capitol Hill. They didn't show an empty chair where Chegg should have been seated, and that's exactly what the problem is with Alphabet. So from that standpoint, I mean, there had been many moments in time. If Sundar Pichai had been aware of this breach, there have been many moments in time throughout the past couple months where they could have said, maybe it is time to disclose. Maybe we should have disclosed instead of letting it leak out in a Wall Street Journal report. It shows sort of a lack of sort of embrace of the temperature of the day where data privacy is very important to Americans and to Congress.
Look, no question. I think they reviewed it, and there's thresholds where they would say this would be material or not. I don't think hundreds of thousands of users, and we don't even know what was taken. Right? This story just broke, so I think it's way too early to make the call. But I think they have a pretty good internal system of controls. If they thought this was leaking financials or some other sensitive data, they probably would have exposed it. If it was something lower end, I think that's probably what this is, and they chose not to. There are many of these issues we never hear of as consumers. And we again, I don't believe that this is going to be material to the story.
So do you cut them slack?
No, I don't think we're not going to cut them slack. We want them to uphold, what's best for end users. But again, I think there are so many incidents like this. I've worked for major large banks for the last 2 decades, and there's clearly a lot of things that go on internally that don't necessarily get fully disclosed. And again, there's certain threshold requirements. Yeah. So our belief is that they didn't trigger that threshold. And again, this
the threshold to disclose. In other words, the threshold to disclose.
Correct. And so and again, it's just. This is something we're all living with across all these companies. If it's credit card data, if it's other sensitive information, absolutely disclose right away.
Yeah. I don't mean to strain the analogy, but it sort of feels to me like a store owner who discovers that maybe there's faulty wiring somewhere and they fix it. Nothing happened. Nothing was damaged. No consumer was touched by it. And so do you disclose that or not? Again, I don't want to strain the analogy there, but it has that kind of touch to me, I guess.
I think the important thing going forward, we think the threshold in terms of what will have to be disclosed to users, that bar is coming down. And so we think over time, you're going to see this, and you're seeing this with GDPR in Europe. There are going to be some high-profile cases where companies are fined a lot of money, and it will lose user confidence. And so our belief is that what you're going to see is that bar will lower, and it will be all alerted going forward. Again, no one's going to change their usage of Google because of this. It's helping run their life, finding the information they need, the directions they need. Again, we don't believe it at this point. This is material.